The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to the UAB Director's Chair. He is the director, the AD, the athletic director for your UAB Blazers, that fourth place Blazer squad right now, getting ready for the AAC that's going to be played right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Women start on the 9th, men start on the 10th, correct? March 10th?
I think it's the 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th, okay.
Yeah. So, right. The ladies tournament starts Tuesday, the men's starts Wednesday. And unless something, I don't think it can change. Our men's team is going to be the 4 seed, which is huge, gives them a double bye.
Yeah, it does.
Our win last night at Charlotte was critical because Charlotte was like a half a game back from us. So now we have the tie break and we separated, a full game and a half. So, really, really big. And we took a tough loss this past Sunday at home, of course, against North Texas. We led for about 38 minutes and then lost in the last 2. But we got fortunate that Charlotte also lost on Sunday when we lost. So then when we went to Charlotte, we kind of did the same thing that North Texas did to us. They led for most of the game and then we stormed back at the end. Either way, but that's a big deal. Top 10 go to the tournament, top 6 get a bye, top 4 get the double bye, which is what we got. So it puts you in the best position to make a run there at the end.
Yeah, 19-11 on the season. I was not skeptical because putting 20 wins next to Andy Kennedy is really it's a given. I mean, every year these guys going to get 20 wins. With 12 new guys in the basketball team, I wasn't so sure. This may be. Would you not say this could be one of his best coaching gigs, one of his best coaching years he's ever had?
It's funny that you say that because I had a fan call me who I don't really know. I know him like hey man, what's up? But I haven't really ever spent time with him. And he reached out and asked if I could call him, and I did. And he said that he's like, hey, I want you to tell something. Will you tell Andy Kennedy something for me? And I thought, oh God. What could this be? Yeah. I mean, listen, believe me, because I get people like, hey, I think Tony needs to get his elbow. I think he'd be a better shooter. Will you? And I'm like,
yeah,
But now this guy just said, hey, man, I just want to tell you, I think Andy Kennedy has done the best coaching job of his career. And will you please tell him that? Because I'm sure he's discouraged. I don't want him to feel that way. Just losing at home is weird. This guy called me. He goes, I'm telling you, I think it's the best coaching job he's ever done.
Yeah.
I told him, and he goes, well, that's nice, dear.
Yeah. 10-2 on the road. I mean, I just, in a straightforward year, you usually play you try to play 500 on the road, but let's be honest. College basketball teams usually win about 34% of the time on the road, 34% of the time on the road. Yeah. And the UAB Blazers have been 10 out of their 12 games. So if that had gone the way that people say, it would have been a different season. And that's the difference maker right now. So they're getting it done. Hey,
last night, look, man, we were 20 for 20 from the free throw line last night.
Take care of your business, man. Yeah.
And we've had several games where we were like in the low to mid 60s, which is unacceptably low. And I'm saying that not to be critical. Andy would say that quickly. And that's really been kind of the difference in a lot of these losses is just like a few free throws. Because it's not just about the points themselves, but it makes the other team, it applies pressure to the other team that's different. It makes them call their game differently if they're only up by 1 point instead of 3 points. Or
we had to make 10 in a row after every practice. Everyone had to make 10 in a row, or we kept shooting. There was one night where I remember being at Lakota High School, and we shot for almost an hour and 45 minutes because one guy could not get 10. We were all making 10 in a row. Once you made 10 in a row, you went and sat down. And this one guy took him an hour and a half. It's just one of those things where you just got to take the points where you can get them. It's why they're called free throws.
Right.
And 9 out of 10 times when you look at the final score, it comes down to, penalties, and it comes down to free throws. I mean, if you're 11 to 16 from the line, you're losing by 3, you do the math. So there you have it. Hey, before we get into Lou Holtz and the illustrious life that man, I'm sure you've had, I guess, some good stories about Coach Lou. Bruce Pearl this past week was on TNT. Was asked about the Miami Redhawks, who, by the way, are now 30-0. One of, I think, about 7 or 8 teams to ever do that. They're having just a really special year. Their strength of schedule is like 358 out of 380 or something like that. I realize that playing at the MAC is not a particularly good thing for them, but they are 30-0. He said that they need to win out. They should have to win out to get in. He said, is this the most deserving or the best? And he said, I want the best. And right now he said his Auburn Tigers are a better basketball team than Miami is a basketball team. Well, what's your thoughts on that? Well, first of all, the thought that Miami would have to win out their tournament to make it in is ludicrous. So they're going to get in. But he doesn't believe they should get an at-large bid. What's your thoughts?
Well, Bruce and Steven are both friends of mine, and I love Bruce. I don't agree with him. And you have to assume that Bruce is a little biased, wouldn't you assume
just
that?
A little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
And I saw an article today that says, here's who Miami tried to schedule that said no to them. And it's this long list of Power 4 teams that wouldn't play them. And I could provide that same list every year, or Andy could. Andy does our scheduling, but I could provide that, or we could provide that every year too.
Let me back up a little bit. I've always said hooey to that. And let me tell you why. There are now so many different basketball tournaments before the season, or right at the beginning of the season, is Coaches versus Classics, blah, 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 where you do. And listen, if you want to have a Coaches versus cancer thing, you're getting the Dukes of North Carolinas. Miami of Ohio is not that first team you're going to get. You're going to get Kentucky, you get the Blue Bloods of North Carolina. I get that. But is it really, I mean, you schedule what, 2-3 years out?
No, you do it 1 year out in basketball.
Okay, so 1 year out. Are you really telling me that UAB's had a difficult time? Is it because you want a home and home? Is that why? And you're not.
Yeah, they won't come here.
Yeah,
they won't come here, and
that's the big reason, right? I mean, that's the big reason.
They won't come here.
Yeah,
and now if you're pretty good, you may have a hard time even getting them to pay you to come to their place. And I think, frankly, people respect Andy and are not interested in losing. And they have the same data that we have, which is that I'm going to get these percentages wrong, but I'm going to be real close. If we play a Power 4 team at the Power 4 school, we've got statistically, we have like a 14% chance of winning. If we played them at our place, we have like a 45% chance of winning. Okay. Mm-hmm. They still have the favor because they are going to be probably bigger than us. Right. But if you can get them neutral site, it's somewhere in the middle, call it 28%. And so we've tried to even say, hey, can we go neutral site? They don't even want that. They don't even want to get caught down in the Cayman Islands playing us and lose, because their fan base just goes berserk. Now, especially that we're paying players, it's intensified by the fact that, fans are investing even more money into paying the players themselves directly, and assuming that you're going to get, the very best of the best of the best, because every fan base thinks that their school is the best. Of course, everybody wants to come here. Don't they all want to come here? You had your pick of everybody, did you not? Well, no, Duke they kind of want good players. North Carolina wants good players. Kentucky, they like good players, so it's not as simple as fans want to make it out to be. It's really hard to get the games. And so it's hard to get into those what we call MTEs, multi-team events. It's hard to get into those to play those teams. Yeah. Usually when we get in them, we're going to play other people like us from other leagues, College of Charleston, St. Louis University, Xavier. You had that one in North Carolina a couple of years ago. Yeah, well, we occasionally can, but I'm just telling you, it's hard to get into them. And then the idea of doing a home and home with somebody, we were able to get one with West Virginia and another one with South Carolina. And the only reason we got those is that West Virginia did it because of Bob Huggins and his relationship with Andy. And the other one, which was the coach at South Carolina, was a Huggins guy that worked with Andy also. And he thought, I'm probably going to get fired, so go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of thought things weren't going well. Who cares? I'll help you out.
Yeah.
And we were able to get South Carolina to come here to Bartow. But remember, West Virginia wouldn't come to Bartow.
Yeah,
they would
had to
do
go
home and
to-
home, but only if we went to Legacy Arena. So,
Yeah.
fans will say, "Oh, we got to get a better schedule." I tell you what, here's everybody's phone number. You knock yourself out, and it's like people don't believe it, but they won't play it.
Yeah.
They won't play it. And so the whole it's part of my problem with the NCAA tournament is that it's being engineered for a certain group of teams to be able to get there because they lock you out in the regular season and then they tell you your strength of schedule isn't good enough because you can't get the games. You can't get the games.
Well, and that'll alleviate. I think I brought this up several times. I think it was Manhattan. I think they were like 34-3, like 10 years ago or something like that, and didn't make it in. I was like, come on. I mean, I know their schedule was horrible. It was like the worst schedule, but I mean, you win 34 or 37 ball games.
That's hard to do against air. I mean,
the fan wants to see that happen. They want to see them. Now I'm a little miffed the fact that Miami's an 11 seed because that means that they're close to one of the first four out, and they're 30-0, which I think is ridiculous. But yeah, right now they're in that 5-11 matchup or that 12-5
watch and
matchup.
see, Tony. I bet they'll have to get to their championship game. I bet they have to get to their championship game and maybe lose in the championship would be the only way that they get in.
Really?
I'm not saying that I think that's fair or right. I'm just saying.
So if they lose, they win their last game. They're 31-0, and they lose the first game in their conference tournament. They're 31-1. They don't get an at-large.
They will not.
I'm gonna have to bet you a steak dinner on that one because I can't believe that. Now I'm not joking.
I'd love to be wrong. I'm just saying that's my prediction.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That'd be kind of crazy. And again their schedule, but I mean that's another reason why we need to expand. If we add another 32 teams next year, whatever, let's let some of those teams in. I love when we have a 14-20 team that wins their conference tournament and gets in. I think it's great. I mean, I think because once in a while
they get hot.
They do. I mean, you're talking five guys. Guys. You're not talking 11. You're talking five, and five guys can get hot. So, all right. Lou Holtz. Like him, love him. He was just an amazing man. 89 years of age. 6 different programs. He took to bowl games. The only coach to ever do that. NC State, William and Mary Jets. Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame, South Carolina. I didn't realize that he was only at Notre Dame for 11 years. It seems like he was at Notre Dame for like 30 years, doesn't it? I mean, you think of him, you think of Notre Dame. Of course, he got his only championship there in 1988. Probably one of his best coaching deals was in South Carolina when he took an 0-11 South Carolina squad in the SEC and went 8-4 the following season. Is written or contributed to 10 different books and has also been given the Presidential Medal of Freedom by one President Donald J. Trump back in 2020. Tell me what you know about Lou Holtz, what kind of man he was, and if you got any good stories.
Oh, I think, Lou Holtz is one of the best coaches of all time. I don't think that's even really debatable. I thought that one of the things that seemed to really stand out for him is that he's not just does he know the game, but he's a great motivational speaker. He has very clever, insightful views on the game and leadership. And I think just not most people couldn't do what he did in terms of his ability to communicate. He's just an incredible communicator. Let's say that. I just happened to watch the 30 for 30 Catholics versus Convicts for like the 8th time a few nights ago. It's terrific.
Yeah,
it's terrific. And we are family friends with one of the people who was a big part of that at Notre Dame. And so that was on the basketball team there. And so we kind of have this, it's funny to see him being interviewed and Chris Zorich is a friend of mine. And anyway, so it's just funny to watch. It's fun to watch it, but it made me think of him again. And my best Lou Holtz story is that I was in college and we Tennessee, we were recruiting Randy Moss, and Randy visited Tennessee, which is a hilarious story that I was a part of that I won't get into, but he visited Notre Dame, which is actually who he signed with. And the story we got after he signed, I had a friend who was a couple years older that was like doing an internship in the recruiting office. And he had a friend or some guy he knew at Notre Dame. And he was like, man, they were talking on the phone. I can't believe y'all got him, man. We wanted him, whatever. And we had Peyton Manning and all that and trying to throw the ball a lot. And that guy said that on Sunday of the weekend that they had breakfast out at Coach Holtz's house, and that Randy walked like up and down this buffet spread that, had everything on it, looking for the one thing they didn't have, which was waffles. And he says, man, y'all don't have any waffles. And somebody's like, what's that, Randy? What's up, man? He goes, I'm looking for waffles. Y'all don't have waffles. And that Lou sent somebody to like the nearest Waffle House, which was like 40 miles away.
That is hilarious.
To get Randy Moss waffles, and that apparently demonstrated their love for and desire for Randy, and that's how they signed it.
That's hilarious. We had him on our show several times, and you mentioned the communicator part. I don't know if he really did it, like, and really meant it, and I don't know how many times there was tape rolling, but his halftime speeches were, incredible. You could sell tickets for $150 a piece to go see his halftime. They were just so good. And I know he had the, that's why we have all, eyes in front of our face, not in the back of our heads, not look forward, look backward, blah, blah, blah. He had all these lines that he used. And every time he used one, it was like it was the first time he was ever using it. And he used it like a million times before. Where did he get his coaching prowess from? Who did he look up to, Lou Holtz, when he got into the coaching thing, and who did he respect that was some of his peers? Do you know?
I don't. Guys like Frank Broyles, I would say, were peers, and the Arkansas ties there, but I wouldn't dare want to say I don't know. You look at maybe some of the legendary coaches, of that time. I'm just trying to think who would have been of that era, but I'm totally speculating as to who that might have been. I don't know.
I'm sure that him and Bear Bryant probably had a glass of bourbon or two back in the day.
That's what I'm thinking, is people like that. And
but yeah,
the Green Bay Packers head coach. I can't believe I can't think of this guy's name.
Lombardi.
Who's the legendary coach of the Packers?
Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi. Thank you. Uh-huh. People like that, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, and again, I'm just asking you as a fan, what do you think he took away from being with the Jets? Obviously, there's been a lot of coaches. Spurrier's tried it. Several coaches. Jim Harbaugh's done it, but it's worked pretty well for him. But
there's a ton that can't. Nick Saban didn't do it well. Lou didn't do it well. Spurrier didn't do it well. There's Matt Rule is a great coach. He didn't do it well. I think the difference there in the NFL is how much control you do not have over what the roster looks like.
Yeah.
And here's your ingredients, go put dinner together. That's the famous line from Parcells, right? If you want me to cook dinner, at least let me buy the groceries. Mm-hmm. And which is a great point. But I think probably a lot of those things. And then, the players themselves are less impressionable, and they're not afraid. I hate to say afraid of you, but there's a healthy amount of fear that I think we should all have of our parents, the authority of our parents, and when you, even in college, the authority of your coach still. But you get to the NFL, pro sports in general, you have a contract. And if I go perform, hey man, stay off my rear end, mm-hmm. Stay off of me about whatever. So guys that maybe jog onto the field but didn't sprint onto the field. Like in college, you can get on to guys about that. You can't really do that in the pros. And so trying to instill some version of discipline properly, I would imagine, is very different in the pro game than it is in the college games. And that's the kind of stuff that really separated people like Nick Saban and Lou Holtz from their peers in college, is their ability to properly instill discipline amongst their team and discipline is a broad word. I mean, it's not jumping off sides. It's after the play penalties. It's that kind of stuff, but it's also discipline of going to class, discipline of treating people well. It's discipline of not going out and being an idiot on Friday or Saturday night. It's all discipline's a lot of things. And I just think that's probably more difficult with true adult people who are making a lot of money, probably making more money than you are in some cases as the coach. That's tough. And so I just think that they probably get to the pros. I don't want to speak for Nick Saban of all people, and certainly not Lou Holtz, but I mean, you just have to imagine that they get there and they realize they're just better suited for the college game in the way that they manage their team and their skill set, being really valuable in the college game. And if that skill set, it just doesn't have the same value in the
And to be going to the Jets, I mean, as your first
team since Joe Namath has not been good.
Yeah, and no doubt. But I mean,
there's a lot of people that have not succeeded with the Jets.
There's no doubt. Last time we spoke last week, you were great, but you were a little flurried. You had a lot going on, a lot of teams playing at the same time. Things settled down a little bit. Talk about some of the other programs. Talk about some of the other programs. I'm going to let you get back to your directing. What else is going on at UAB?
Yeah, I mean, we're still finishing up basketball season. We have the tournament here, the American Conference tournament here at Legacy Arena next week. I hope people come out. That's the thing, is we want to have a good showing. We'd like to get it back. And so we need to demonstrate that Birmingham wants to support this event. So I please encourage people to do that. And baseball and softball, are heavy underway. Beach volleyball is underway. We'll have a couple of home beach events, which are fun. Beach volleyball, which to me looks exhausting, is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. Our team is really good. We just upset number 13 Washington. We just beat Tulane, who's always very good. So we're right around the top 25, which is where we kind of hover. So we're a top 25 team in that sport. I know you don't think of the beach when you think of Birmingham, but we have a beautiful facility and a really great coach in Delaney Rose, and her team is really tough. Casey Dunn and Taylor Smart, our baseball and softball coaches, are off to a really good start. Non-conference season for both of those teams is usually tough. Like, we're going to play Tennessee and Mississippi State and Alabama and Auburn and a lot of really great teams, and we're holding our own, with them, and also playing other mid majors like ourselves and having good success. So we're off to a really good start, in both of those sports. But yeah, when those all overlap, like this weekend, we have a home baseball series, a home softball series. We have our last home women's basketball game and our last home men's basketball game. So you're talking about 8 contests between Friday and Saturday, all at home, that our staff is having to manage, ushers and ticket takers and the music and the scoreboards. And, there's only so many people that we have that can properly do all those things, PA announcers and all that are spread pretty thin. So we get through this weekend, really through next weekend, that's when it'll, at least the basketballs, fade away, and we still have the others, which is frankly the majority of it, baseball and softball. But the spring is certainly upon us.
We'll be down there at the BJCC. My boy's coming in town. I won't make it in town for my birthday, but he's coming in town for a break. His break is over that time, so we're going to go check out every stinking ball game we possibly can. We'll be down there hooting, and just tell UAB they're on the road. Just tell them they're on the road. Just play on the road and get it done. And who knows what can happen with this basketball team. You knocked off Memphis and Memphis. Why not? Why not win it all? Just go get it done and be done with it. All right, my man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll catch up next week.
Sounds great, Tony. Go Blazers.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.